Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsey. Eddie Murphy's back in the headlines, kids. Depending on when you listen to this, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But there was recently a documentary put out about him. Essentially, in his own words, a lot of his own personal perspective. He's in a whole lot of it, so it's not in the hands of somebody else, which is all good. And it's a good documentary. I recommend watching it. You are getting sort of his point of view, which is fine. I'm not necessarily looking for a documentary that roasts anybody. And I don't think Eddie's done anything to really deserve to get roasted for. I'm a big fan, and I know Phil is too. So I highly recommend it. But one of the things that he talked about, of course, throughout the course of this documentary is his trip, his journey from Saturday Night Live, stand up to Saturday Night Live to being a massive Hollywood star. We've talked about Eddie here on the show before. We've done the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. We've done Harlem Nights, and we've done The Nutty Professor. So today we're going to get into his first movie, the thing that really put him on the map aside from SNL, and that's 48 Hours. This a classic film. It hit me in a different way than I expected. And I saw this movie a bunch growing up, and there was moments I could quote it word for word. That's how many times I'd seen it. If you've ever watched something at a younger age and then watched it later and you're like, whoa, what? That's what happened to me. And I'm not going to get into it right this second because I can't wait to hear what Phil says. Because again, I got thoughts, and they're not negative thoughts, but they're thoughts nonetheless. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But before we do, let's do this. 48 Hours is a 1982 American action comedy directed by Walter Hill that helped define the buddy cop genre long before it became a Hollywood staple. The film pairs grizzled San Francisco cop Jack Cates with the fast-talking convict Reggie Hammond after Hammond is temporarily released from prison to help track down two escaped killers within a tight 48-hour window. Known for its sharp dialogue, thrilling set pieces, and crackling chemistry, that is, between its leads, 48 Hours was both a commercial and critical success, marking Eddie Murphy's feature film debut and launching him into movie stardom. Released on December 8th, 1982, the movie was made for an estimated $10 to $12 million and grossed approximately $76 to $79 million at the box office, becoming one of the top grossing R-rated films of the year. And that is your lowdown on 48 Hours. So Phil, here we go. Eddie's first movie. It's off to the races. He's going to become a big-time, bankable movie star after this film. What's your first reactions? What's your first thoughts coming in?
Well, I can't remember that last time I actually saw this movie. I probably haven't seen it all the way through in over 20 years at this point. And I know that this is his big feature film debut. This was really the movie that put him on the map. Mm-hmm. And you can see it throughout this movie that it's his breakout role. But for me, I think by the time I was introduced to Eddie Murphy, I'd seen him in so many other things that this wasn't really the thing that caught my eye with him. Like Beverly Hills Cop and his stand-ups, Golden Child. I'd seen all of those things because this movie came out before I was born, so I didn't see it right away.
So since you didn't have that connection with it, how do you connect to it now? Is it foreign to you because it's the first one? I mean, we're going to get into the plot, which, man, I got massive problems with this freaking story, dude. But how do you connect to it, or can you?
There's definitely things about it that feel dated, and there's a reason why I did not see it early on. I mean, even if you look at Trading Places and you watch it now, there's stuff in there where it's oh, they can't say that anymore. They cannot do that anymore. There's a lot in this movie where they could not make the same movie in 2026. There's just no way.
I had forgotten how many times the N word was in this movie. Totally
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah. The amount of slurs in here, the amount of racist jokes, yeah, you could not make the same movie.
I I don't want to give it away, but immediately what jumped to mind as we're saying this right now is the scene where Nick Nolte apologizes for calling that N word and for saying the word watermelon, and he follows it up with,
I was
"It was
just
my
doing my
job to keep you down."
yeah. I was
And I'm
just doing
thinking, brother, I don't know if they knew how deep that one line is, Phil. They probably just meant it from a cop,
yeah.
prisoner perspective. I didn't take it like that at all.
Yeah. I mean, this takes place in California, and like a lot of the stuff that happened with white police officers in California, like the riots and everything. Yeah, that's a pretty loaded piece of dialogue.
Right? I was glad I wasn't the only one to hit it like that. Cause man, it was, and Nolte is so effing great. The way he
Yeah.
delivered it, it truly felt heartfelt, like it was genuine. But I'm like, man, that's a loaded piece of dialogue if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, everything that's happened in California. I mean, the OJ trial. There's so many things. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
He
this is like 1982, so this is like,
pre a lot of stuff. I mean, after Watts, of course, but like pre OJ and all that other stuff. I mean, we're probably going to hit another 48 hours on the next episode because, as you know, sometimes we do these things and we'll hit parts 1 and 2. So I'm curious to see how that one feels. And I can't remember if it's 2 to 5 years, maybe in between, maybe not even that long. But so it'd be interesting to see how that works out. But man, here's something I'll tell you. You said it's dated. You know what this movie doesn't have is that loud 80s synthesizer, jazz horn. Like it feels like a 70s cop soundtrack all the way through it, doesn't it?
yeah, it has a grit to it. And I mean, when I say it's dated, I think it's in like, some of the dialogue and some
Sure.
things that's just because it's an old movie. Um, but yeah, it definitely goes for this toned down, gritty feel. It tonally and like aesthetically, it feels like a western, and it's supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it has all the makings of a western. There's a saloon scene, basically.
Yes.
The one of the main antagonists is a Native American.
It's true.
Just like the chases and stuff, and yeah, it has a lot of the trappings of a western.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. And Eddie with the hat. Man, that scene in the bar when he goes, "There's a new sheriff in town," and then he stops talking and rolls his eyes to the left. That is one of the most classic moments of all time. It's so good, man.
Yeah, you can tell why specifically that scene in the bar is like his breakout scene. It's like the thing that put him on the map because he has so much charisma in that scene. And I think the best thing you could say about this movie, if it wasn't pitched as a vehicle for Eddie Murphy, that's certainly what it turned out to be because the movie completely changes the first time we see him. It completely changes. He completely steals every scene he's in. The mood when you hear his voice singing Roxanne in the background the first time, everything changes.
Yeah.
The second he is in this movie.
And his character doesn't really evolve all that much because there's not really, I mean, he's not a good guy, but he's also not a killer. He's a thief, but he robbed a thief. He robbed a dealer, right? Like, but Nolte's character 100% does like a 180 by the end of this film.
Yeah. I mean, because he's got he's a lot more rough around the edges by the end of this movie. Well, at the beginning of this movie than Reggie is.
Yeah.
And again, to go with this Western theme, he's part of a gang that robs people.
Yeah.
Like
oh my. Yeah. And Nick Nolte, of course, kids. Jack Cates. I mean, if you're going to be a cop in a 70s, 80s film, your first name better be Jack. And perfect. He and Murphy have great chemistry. And the movie's best moments are the dialogue between the two of them. Even when it gets rough, they're still bonding and they're still bouncing off each other really nicely.
Yeah.
But, to me, those are the highlights of the film, man.
Yeah, even some of it with the racist jokes in there. Like when he sees his car for the first time, and he's like, "I didn't know your type went for foreign cars," and he was like, "Yeah, some white guy bought up the last blue Cadillac."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Nolte with that voice, like he smoked 6 packs a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I just love that Reggie catches him off guard with everything he does. Like every time he's just like this guy. Like when he goes into the bar initially with his badge and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to show you that, you know, anybody can basically do what you guys do. You're just a guy with a badge and a gun." And he goes in there and he works the room and he comes out in press like, "Well, he can't show me." And even when he picks the fight with him, like, "You better tell me what you know, or I'm gonna beat you up." And he picks the fight with him, and initially Reggie is handing it to him.
yeah, he is. Yeah. I mean, of course they're fighting. Of course the cops pull up on him and everything. I mean, Nolte's character, Kate's just is he's just a loser. Like you get the feeling he solves cases. He talks about filing paperwork, filing report 4 different times or something. I don't think those reports ever get filed, man.
Yeah. And I mean that comes across in their fight where he's just like, "Well, I fight dirty." And you see throughout the fight what he has to do to get back in the fight once he starts losing. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he was kind of giving it to you, and then you had to like start throwing the garbage cans and like fight dirty because that's all you had.
Yeah.
And you picked this fight.
Yeah, no kidding. I love how they're so flippant. The way he just tosses the badge like it doesn't matter, throws a gun on the hood of the car like it doesn't matter. It's just,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. At every turn he shows throughout this movie, no, he needs Reggie. Reggie don't need him. It's not the other way around.
100%. Yeah. And then, like, Reggie could have bailed. They were
Yeah.
separated. Reggie could have bailed, and maybe they wouldn't have caught him. But he called him. He called him.
Yep.
Which made I think Kate's finally, for a change, that's when he did the 180 because he's like,
Yes.
"Thanks for calling." Right? I
Yeah.
mean, because look, to be honest, and I don't know about real world kids, never served prison sentence. But at least in movie terms here, Phil, this guy would be insane to disappear. He's only got 6 months left. So, like, better to go back and serve it than to disappear. And then if they catch you, you could end up serving another year or more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he really outsmarts Kate's at multiple turns. And then he kind of just is just like matter of factly like, "Yeah, hey, let's finish. Like, where are you? I'm calling you from this bar."
Yeah.
And
It's
he's
like, never
"Well,
heard of
wait a
that
minute.
one.
He didn't take off running." Like, and believe you, if he had taken off running because he filled out a 48-hour release for him illegally, he would have been in more trouble than Reggie was.
That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah. Because he wasn't supposed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That bit from Naked Gun and Police Squad, like every time Drebin pulls up, he smashes into trash cans. Nick Nolte cannot drive. Dude, that car, that dude could just be going to the convenience store to get a gallon of milk, and he'll do 80 around a corner screeching tires. This whole movie, that guy with that car, man.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of the buddy cop stereotypes from this. The yelling chief, the grizzled detective, and his cool car that he just drives recklessly throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. A girl that obviously cares about him, but that he kind of takes a crap on through the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a mess. I mean, we don't know what kind of connection he has with her, but you kind of get the feeling he's pretty soft for her. That's Annette O'Toole as Elaine, kids. Jack's girlfriend. Man, I kind of forgotten how, Annette was a hottie back in the day, boy. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. He clearly does like her because every time he messes up, he's just like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to pay for this later," basically.
Yeah.
Because he can't just write her off like he writes off other things.
Yeah, because they tell him he's got a call on line 3 or whatever, and he screams into the phone like thinking it's Reggie. It's her. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, baby." It's got that voice. Oh, that's great stuff. Let's talk about the plot that I mentioned, kids, that I kind of really had a problem with that I didn't see coming. So you've got two violent criminals, Albert Gans,
Gans.
yeah, and Billy Bear. This is the great Sonny Landon, kids. If you know Predator, you know him because he was Billy in that movie as well. And they escape custody and embark on a killing spree while searching for $500,000 stolen years earlier. Tough, rule-breaking cop Jack Cates, as we said, needs help tracking them down. And with a few leads, of course, Cates ends up getting Reggie's help. And Gans's crew, which, just all these guys are losers. That's what you need to know. And 48 hours to find them. High stakes race through the streets of San Francisco. Boy, I'll say. Let me tell you something about this Gans and Bear. They might be two of the most inept criminals we've ever seen in a film of all time, Phil. They're freaking terrible at this.
Yeah, one of the most heavy-handed shooters I've ever seen in the history of cinema and Gans. I mean, this guy shooting with both hands, just like, I mean, God, just heavy-handed.
And leaving a trail of bodies everywhere they go. Like, they're not exactly hiding out, Phil. They're making their presence known everywhere they go, man.
Yeah, I know. That name, Western, this makes sense as a Western, that two guys, even the way we're first introduced to them, and they're kind of like in an old school chain gang.
Yeah. Yes.
And the way that they escape prison, very much reminiscent of old Westerns that, villains escape, try to go and check into a hotel and escape. But because this is today, they left a paper trail, and that's how the police came looking for them, because they used a stolen credit card.
Right. Of course. Yes. And you notice all the other guys on the chain gang took off?
Yes.
I'm like, is it worth it though? Like, I don't know, man. Is it worth it? Like, they're going to catch you. Cops, they always catch you.
Yeah. And to your point about them being bad criminals, why not, check into the hotel with cash, or maybe get the situation where you have some cash to.
No kidding.
I mean, they just didn't think at that time in the 80s that people are going to find out there's a stolen credit card, I guess. But
things was different then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things was different then. I don't know.
Yeah. And then immediately kills 2 police officers. And that's how Cates gets on their trail, because he's at this point searching for vengeance.
Of course.
He's got a vendetta, which again, Western.
Of course. 2 cops that he didn't really care all that much for, if we're being honest about it.
Yeah, but this is one of our own. I knew those people, and they were just doing their job, and this guy killed them.
Yeah. And one of the cops that got killed has notoriously been a bad guy in almost everything he's been in, I think.
Yeah. Just the last thing that really drove home that this is supposed to be the same as a Western is even when we get the final showdown with Gans and Billy Bear, and it's very much done like a draw. Like when Cates comes down the alley, and Reggie's just like, shoot him, and he immediately draws his gun, shoots him in the shoulder, doesn't graze Reggie at all. That's immediately what I thought of a Western, like the draw. And then even the way he draws down on him and kills him, he has that like blank stare, and he's like, no way you're gonna get out of here. I was like, yeah, this feels like Clint Eastwood.
It does, yeah. And he makes that comment at one point during the film, they've got my gun, they're going around town killing people. I'm like, you threw them your gun. You threw it to them.
He did. Just the kind of guns they use as well, very much reminiscent to 6-shooters as well.
Yeah.
I don't think that was an accident.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess, what is that, a police revolver, like 38 Special or whatever, was like a typical gun used by the cops then, I suppose.
Yeah, what a clean throw. Cates throws
Right?
that gun. I mean, he catches it clean, doesn't fumble it, catches it, and just keeps going. Well, thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Let me shoot that cop behind you. All right.
Like it's like the robber from Simpsons that's like a recurring character.
Yeah.
Like he basically catches it the same way. Like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do some stuff with this. Bye-bye.
What kills me is he was hesitant to take the shot then, but then in the end, when the guy had Reggie, he took the shot.
Yes.
Like, that seems not cool.
Yeah, because I guess he learned from that moment of like, nah, ain't no way I'm letting you get away this time. I could try and get this arrest, but this time you got to go. I've been chasing you for a whole movie. It's been 48 hours.
It has been 48 hours. Hence the title. Yeah, just Jonathan Banks is this Inspector Algren that gets murdered. If you know that guy's, if you don't know his name, you know his face because he's a villain in a lot of stuff he does. I tell you, man, 82. We're only 2 years into the 80s, which I'm sure is why I've got that feel. But you know, we did Lethal Weapons here, and then did a lot of other 80s movies with that blaring horn and the goofy synthesizers just make you want to go jump off a bridge. So, like, I gotta say, it was nice to not have all that in this movie.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is more of like a hard-boiled cop movie.
Yeah, it is a hard-boiled cop movie. I was here for that. Nolte and Murphy together. I mean, it's a great pairing. In my head, it was. This is gonna sound weird. I mean, in my memories of this film, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I watch it back, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. I enjoy it. Do I think it's awesome? I think they're really good together, sure. But I don't know, man. It feels like my memories of this are just not, it didn't live up to the memories I have of it, man. What do you think of these two guys together? I know we said it's a highlight of the film, but are we missing anything? Is it just because the dialogue is rough in spots? I mean, they feel like real people when they're talking together. I mean, like, what do you think about their chemistry overall?
I do think that they have good chemistry, and I think the dialogue really does work, even when there's some racist stuff in there, some controversial slurs being thrown around.
Sure.
I think that they work so well together, and I think the thing that stands out for Eddie Murphy for this being his feature film debut, he's only 21 years old when he made this, and like he's fresh off of Saturday Night Live. You can see right away with just how natural he was throughout this movie. Like, yeah, this guy's gonna be a big star.
Yeah, that's for sure. We talked about the villains. I mentioned Sonny Landham, James Remar as Gans. That guy is also a great villain, and you know, depending on what it is he's in, the guy's been an actor for a good long time. I think the two of them together, I think they have great chemistry. They're believable as criminals. They look the part, but like again, they're just really bad at it. Like just extraordinarily bad at it. But he looks slimy. Remar looks slimy. He looks like he just knocked off a liquor store. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's got to look for it. I think if we're going in terms of, do we have chemistry with the two cops? Yes. Do we have chemistry with the two criminals? Absolutely. So that part they did get nailed, I think.
Yeah, he's running around for most of the movie with this dingy tan tank top, and like I said, he just the way that he moves, the way that he shoots very heavy-handedly and recklessly.
Yeah. And we got naked women here. It's an early 80s film.
Yes.
And, you know, they're all 90 pounds soaking wet. And I guess if that's your thing, that's fine. But, you know, the P word is thrown around and there's pretty sure there's a couple of gay things being said. And
A lot of gay slurs in this movie.
right? I don't know why I said a couple. Yeah.
A lot of gay slurs thrown around this movie. But also just like the way that the villains kind of hurl women around and like threaten them, and just like it's so like it's so visceral throughout this movie, and it's just like, oh, that's like he's really going there. And I mean, even like the whole premise with Luther, and he's just like, get the money for me. I'm taking your girlfriend with me. And so Luther's whole thing this entire time is I have to get the money to get back to these two other bad guys because they have my girlfriend. And then he finally gets to him. He's like, don't hurt her. He's like, what do you mean? And they just killed him. I was like, wait,
they just kill him.
They just killed him right away. He's like, wait, that wasn't a real concern for him that you were going to hurt his girlfriend? You've been putting a gun to her neck the entire movie.
The entire movie. That was David Patrick Kelly as Luther. You know what I found interesting? It never came out one time to Cates or Hammond why this guy was doing this. They never found out, did they?
No, they arrested Luther at one point. Luther got out and kept doing what he had to do. He was like, no, my girl's in trouble, man. I can't let this go down.
And by the way, what happened to her?
We don't know. After that whole car chase, we don't know.
I have no idea what happened to her. Like, I sat there after it was over, and I'm like, wait a minute. Where is she? Like, I have no clue where she's at.
Yeah.
Rosette is his girl. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, still no idea because they stole a bus. Can we talk about the fact that they stole a? First of all, how they get their hands on the bus? It's like it's so nonchalant. He just pulls up. I got this bus. Like, what happened? Right?
I mean, the most inconspicuous criminals that you'll ever see. Everything they're doing is just like ridiculous and over the top.
Over the top.
And it's just like, yeah, you've got these other two guys, and Luther and Reggie, that were a part of the same gang with them, and that's how they
Yeah.
know each other. And they move so differently. Like the way that Reggie's moving and like tailing these guys and like finding information, it's like smooth, and he's just keeping his pace. Like, yeah, well, we don't have to chase them here. I know where they're going. These guys, I mean, like bulling a china shop everywhere they
Yeah.
go.
They announce their presence very loudly everywhere they go. They sure didn't disappear. The guys that escaped from Alcatraz made far less noise. They never found those guys. Like, I'm just saying, there were 3 of them.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Tom Clark's Main Event, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
Rosalie, that was her name. My bad. Rosalie was Carrie, played by Carrie Sherman. If you blinked, you might have missed her. But well, if you recognize her, she's very young in this movie, kids. But we've got Denise Crosby is in this movie, and she's a Sally. There's quite a few ladies in this movie, man. Let's see. We talked about the chief earlier. This is Frank McRae, whose only job was to yell and scream. That was all he was here for. I mean, he did fine. Just saying.
Yeah. There are a lot of women to basically do the monologue from the Teen Wolf play. You can burn down our houses. You can tear.
Right? Margaret Rose is Casey. Olivia Brown is Candy. James Keene is Inspector Van Zant. Tara King is Frizzy. Greta Blackburn is Lisa. This cast list is massive, but they're like a lot of these folks only had like 2 or 3 lines, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like you said, they're leaving a trail a mile long.
Yeah. The whole time, Reggie is telling Kate, like, yeah, I'm trying to get some. He eventually does by the end of the movie. And I love that it's played in such a kind of sweet scene. Like, he didn't just go in there and just like do what he needed to get done and then come out like very crassly zipping up his pants or something like that. He was very sweet to her on the way out. Like, hey, I'll see you in 6 months. I'll take you out. And it was just like, again, this idea that you have of Reggie of like, oh, he's just like this, like, he's like this goon. And the way he treats this woman, even though his initial pitch to her was not as great, it was very vulgar. But after it was over, he was just like, hey, man, that was nice. I'll see you again.
Yeah, I'll see you in 6 months. I'll come back, take you out for dinner. We'll do something nice. We'll go dancing. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it set the tone because, like, has Eddie ever been portrayed as a complete heel in a movie?
Yes.
I mean, what am I not thinking of? I mean, well, Buddy Love, right? He was complete heel.
Buddy Love.
I guess Rasputia, I suppose.
Yes. Which I just saw a clip from Norbit the other day and was dying laughing. Norbit is definitely a guilty pleasure for me. Every time people are like, that's a bad movie, and I'm just like, I know, but it's so funny.
Yeah, it's not a good movie, but it's got its
not
moments.
A good movie, but God, is it funny, man? Because there was the part where Norbit is dancing on the dance floor, and they're like doing the Go Norbit, and the whole time Rasputia is like talking behind him, and she's like, Go Norbit, and then pushing that speaker on him. Hilarious.
For me, it's when she's getting in the car and she's complaining about the seat being moved, and she just keeps flexing her chest against the steering wheel, making the horn beat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A lot of the dialogue between Norbit and Rasputia is really funny. Very funny.
Rasputia,
way funnier than it has any right to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Way funny to have Rasputia. I mean, again, I think we've called this out. Pope Sweet Jesus and Lord Have Mercy.
Yes.
Best 2 character names of all time.
Breezy.
Yeah. Best two character names. I defy anyone. I would have said at one time that Dr. Johnny Fever and Venus Flytrap from WKRP in Cincinnati was two best character names I've ever heard until I heard Post Sweet Jesus and Lord Have Mercy.
Yeah. At one point they're talking and the kid comes flying out of the bounty house and lands in that like cart with the hay.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, it's raining white women. And he's like, my dreams have come true. And he's like, man, you better move because I prayed for a Cadillac.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Yeah. This by the way, speaking of buddy cop, we kicked off this show talking about this is, it's been referred to as a pioneer of the buddy cop formula. And look, if we're being real, I'm not going to sit here and go look it up, but like I can't off the top of my head remember a film that came before this one that I could legitimately call buddy cop. I mean, man, Phil, but we can name a whole bunch that came afterward, right?
Absolutely. I think that like for like the modern day in the 80s, this was it. I'm sure like if you like actually did like some homework and like film studies, there is a buddy cop film that came before this, but for what we all recognize as the formula for a buddy cop film, it was very much lifted from this movie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the banter, personality clashes, the humor, the character, the chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, the leads are mismatched, which I think works I'm not saying two actors who are best friends, it can't work in a film. We see it work all the time. But when you take two guys that look like they have nothing to do with each other, there can be some really good stuff there as well. And I think that's what we got with Nolte and Murphy in these two roles.
Yeah. I mean, they do all of the buddy cop tropes that we're now used to. The two main characters get separated at one point and then they get back together and they have like their reunion speech where they apologize to each other. That's been done in so many buddy cop movies at this point.
Yes.
I mean, Eddie has done another buddy cop movie that has done all of these tropes before it.
He has. I mean, of course, without this movie, we don't get Beverly Hills Cop. Think of what this did for Eddie. Like he was a stand-up guy and that's what he was. And then he became this.
Yeah, had a lot of success with Paramount. A lot of his biggest hits came with Paramount.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I didn't know until I watched the documentary that you mentioned at the top of the show. Very good documentary, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you really look at like the success he had with Paramount, it's no wonder they're just like still in the business of working with this guy because they've made that studio a lot of money.
No kidding. Yeah. I mean, he's made a lot of money from the studio, but they've made way more from, off of his back for sure.
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense. The idea for this movie, kids, was developed by producer Lawrence Gordon in the early 70s, which gives you a lot of the idea of the vibes of this, and evolving through multiple drafts before Paramount greenlit production with Walter Hill directing. Hill co-wrote the screenplay with Roger Spottiswoode, I think, Larry Gross, and Stephen E. D'Souza, continuing to refine the story even during filming. Principal photography began in May of 82, with key scenes shot on location throughout San Francisco and Los Angeles. The city, Phil, is absolutely a character in this movie, right? I mean, if you'd done this on a back lot, it would have been okay. It wouldn't have had the vibe this movie had.
No.
I mean, you got the streets of San Francisco, those hills. I have never been to California, but I've always wanted to go just to because I've seen those streets in movies and TV shows for years, man.
Yeah, I think that comes across very well as well. And I think that's part of like Eddie Murphy's ascent in the superstardom out of this movie as well, because it very much has this California feel of like, I mean, I thought that a lot when we were talking about Wonder Man and watching Wonder Man and just how much like the idea of going west to find success or going to California to find success is such a big part of that movie. And it's kind of unintentionally a theme of this movie because of Eddie Murphy's newfound success coming from a guy from the East Coast to the West Coast of this movie.
Good point. Well said. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, we were talking about the city, being like a character. That cinematographer, Rick Waite, who capture the evocative shots of San Francisco neighborhoods, markets, the transit systems, grounding the story. It absolutely grounded the story. It's kind of like a Batman
Yes.
film, you know, whether it's shot in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever. I mean, getting that grit, that feel of the city around it, the trains and everything, dude, that really does make an impact. Let's see. So the connection between the two main leads, and again, as we said, the character contrast between the the lead heroes and the villains, so to speak. I mean, this did bleed over into another 48 hours, which we know for sure, and again became the thing that lasted for years to come in Hollywood. It's amazing, Phil, how this one formula caught on to the point that it did, and we're still making this movie. Well, not this particular movie, but we're still following this same formula today. Man, that is wild to me.
Yeah, a lot of very successful franchises, a lot of big blockbuster hits definitely took this formula and ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Lethal Weapon wasn't long after this either.
Yeah.
But you kind of get the feeling that like once a movie of a certain genre gets over and these studios see that there's money in it, they're like, "Oh, we can do that. Let's write a movie too that that follows the same formula." We've seen that a bunch over the years.
Definitely.
The interrogation in the country music bar. And I'm like, it's kind of a shock to the system, Phil, in 1982, California, to see the Confederate flag hanging there and all these backwood hillbillies with the hats in California. Like, to me, that's mind blowing. I've been told
Yeah.
rednecks are in every state, but it just seemed to be more prevalent here. But that was kind of mind blowing to me, man. It's funny
Yeah.
to see them, but they're not speaking with Southern accents. That's kind of odd. But like you said, that was sort of a career defining moment early on for Eddie, right? I mean, if that's take that scene out of the movie, it's really not quite the same movie after that point, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of what defines him as an actor, but also it's such a big part of this movie and just flipping this idea of what people had of Reggie coming in, of him just being a convict, because he's called that multiple times in his movie. And it's kind of just like, well, no, like we see that this guy is very charismatic. He could charm an entire room, and when he's in there, it's just like it's hard not to feel like, wait, this guy's the good guy. Why are we acting like this guy is like a bad guy? He's the good guy. He comes in there and he's telling all these rednecks off. It is hilarious. Um, when he takes the money out of one guy's pocket and he's like, "Where'd you get this from?" Tax return. He's like, "No way. You're too dumb to have a job."
Yeah. I forget who in the documentary mentioned this, but the fact that, you know, Cates can't do this without Hammond.
No.
So you have this juxtaposition of a white cop who keeps using the word convict when he talks to him, but he can't make a move without checking with Reggie first, which is, again, as a kid watching this, I don't know if that got through to me at all on a deep level, but man, going back to watch it, that's very deep right there.
Yeah, Reggie is the coolest character in this movie.
Yeah.
And this is next to Nick Nolte playing this like gruff detective with the cool car and everything. And at every turn, Reggie shows he's cooler than him.
Yeah. And he can't do this without him too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he never would have found these guys. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like, again, Jack's not a bad cop, but he's not a great cop either.
Yeah. and we've seen like these kind of movies with the buddy cop, and there's like a black sidekick, and the other guy is the more competent one. And you think about like Rush Hour and how Jackie Chan throughout that movie, he's the competent one. He's running around beating everybody up. He's like a competent cop in all of these things. And we've seen that in so many other things, but like at every turn when Reggie's left to his own devices, no, he ended up just fine. When he had that little stare down with Billy Bear, and Billy Bear flashing that knife on him, he just shoots him. He's like, I'm not playing this game with you. He was like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
You know, we talked about the villains of this movie. It's worth mentioning that James Remar, who played Gans, went without sleep before shooting his scenes in order to, you know, get that wild-eyed look and give that bad guy feel like a washed out dude. It totally worked.
Yeah.
Like, and also something cool that I don't know if I knew about, that a lot of the dialogue between Murphy and Nolte was improvised. It wasn't even in the script. I mean, I get that too, quite a bit through this. I mean, that makes sense. So I'm here for that as well. The first scene at the police station, which begins around the 20-minute mark or so, was apparently shot in a single take, lasts 3 minutes with no visible cuts. So I don't know if I could have said at the time where my head was at when I watched this. I was very young when this movie came out. But like, I knew Eddie from SNL. I was already a fan of Gumby, and I was already a fan of Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, and I knew who he was, the James Brown Celebrity Hot Tub and everything. But like, I know we get another 48 hours after this, but man, I can't imagine if 48 hours doesn't happen, do we get Eddie as a bona fide movie star? I mean, he probably would have got there because the guy's crazy talented. But without this as being the springboard, I think it's not quite the same career, is it?
Well, definitely not. Definitely not. I don't know who he would be without this movie.
Yeah, I agree. Because this is the one, I mean, everybody knows Beverly Hills Cop, and we talked it to death and the trilogy, and well, 4 of them. 4? Yeah. 48 Hours is kind of where it all started. Gregory Hines, by the way, was actually the first choice to play Reggie.
That would have been a totally different movie.
Totally different. Such a crazy talented guy, but a totally different movie. Yeah, he dropped out to due to scheduling conflicts with the Cotton Club that was done in '84.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eddie actually later confessed that he was the 4th or 5th choice for the part. They wanted Richard Pryor, Howard E. Rollins Jr., and a young Denzel. Holy Lord, that's a different movie.
Yeah, all of those choices is a totally different movie. But again, it's just so hard to believe that this movie wasn't made as a vehicle for Eddie because this movie is not the same without him.
100%, yeah. I mean, that Richard Pryor stuff kind of followed him around. And like, I know it's dumb to say, but it's almost like, well, we wanted this black actor. Well, let's get this other black. It's almost like, dude, why can't you? I don't know. I'm falling into that rut of Tom doesn't understand why people are racist. But I mean, it seemed like Eddie bumped into this quite a bit during his career, right? I mean, Trading Places was supposed to have been Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, which again is a very different movie.
Yeah, and I mean, they talked about that a little bit in the documentary, his relationship with Richard and how he idolized Richard and how it became tough when people were trying to make him out to be a replacement for Richard. And that's never what Eddie wanted to be. And, it unfairly created some tension between them at one point because, this is all media creating this idea or Hollywood creating this idea that there could only be one black leading man at the time. And that's, of course, changed a lot since then. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they covered that in such depth. And we got the documentary. I mean, not documentary, but the clip of Richard Pryor where he's doing an interview, and he's jokingly like, "Yeah, I think I want to kill him."
Did he seem bothered to you? Because it seemed like he was really bothered.
I couldn't tell how much of it was him trying to put it on as a joke, and how serious he was. But again, that happens. Media will unfairly create these competitions between people that aren't really in competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I don't know why the need is there to do that, but
yeah. And if you know anything about Eddie's career, Richard was his hero.
For sure, yeah. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark's 6M podcast sent you. Well, it's like the weird thing that people do where people try to one up Jordan and say, well, this guy is the best. I'm like, you don't get Eddie without Richard. You don't get Kobe without Jordan. I mean, there's, you know what I mean? Like, come on, guys, what are we talking about? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. Talking about this being, Eddie's first movie, we have to mention that he reportedly got $450K for this movie. And Nick Nolte got like $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. But for part 2, Nick Nolte got around 3 million and Eddie got 7. So that shows you that part 2 is 8 years later.
Yeah.
I don't know if I realized part 2 was in 1990. That blows my mind as well.
Yeah. The run that Eddie went on in the 80s is like legendary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
by the time you got to 1990, you had to show him the money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We talked about it here on the show before, kids, as we said when we kicked the show off here today. We've talked about Eddie quite a bit, but yeah, his run is something to behold. Not a lot of people can lay claim to that. Like 82 was 48 Hours, 83 was Trading Places, 84 was Beverly Hills Cop, 86 was Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 87, Eddie Murphy Raw in 87, Coming to America in 88, dude. Harlem Nights in 89, another 48 Hours in 1990, Boomerang in 92, and then we get an assorted number of misses here and there. Nutty Professor, Beverly Hills Cops 94, Nutty Professors 1996, and then we bounce back and forth with his career through the rest of that time period. But man, like you said, a streak a mile long, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, this is a classic, man. I wasn't trying to undersell it when we kicked off, but I got to tell you, man, in my head, for whatever reason, this movie, for me anyway, I just have much different memories of it. I don't know if it's because I know I saw what Eddie did after the fact, and I've been watching Eddie for most of my life, and maybe that's what happened. But maybe it was just so fresh in the couple of years that it was in heavy rotation for me, and I watched it all the time when it came out and stuff. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, a good movie, Phil, but I don't know if I would say this is an undisputed 5-star. I don't know.
No, it's incredibly important to his career. It's his breakout role for sure. But like, because we had a perspective of time now, and he's had so many other better movies since then. And when I think of like the movies that like I think are synonymous with Eddie Murphy, sure, this comes up, but it's not it's not like the first movie I would mention. Like, Coming to America and like Trading Places and Beverly Hills Cop. Those movies like stand out a lot more to me. And I feel like they have more rewatch value as well.
Yeah, this one might be kind of tough. You wouldn't want certain people to walk in the room while you're watching this movie. Like,
yeah, if I was picking the Eddie Murphy movie to show somebody, like if somehow I knew somebody that has never seen an Eddie Murphy movie, I don't think I'd pick 48 Hours. Like, like the bar scene is so important, and I get why that's so important to his career and why you would show that to people. But like, as just a movie, I wouldn't pick that one.
I will say this. Without mentally going through the Rolodex of his filmography, did we see another, like, could we say Axel Foley was edgy? I got to be honest with you, man. I don't think Axel Foley was very edgy. I feel like this character in this cop film was pretty darn edgy, Phil. Like, I don't know. Yes. Did we get quite the same flavor of character after these two movies?
Maybe in the first Beverly Hills Cop. I think that was the most edgy Axel was. It gets toned down more and more as the franchise goes on.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, he's pretty ballsy in the first one, and then it kind of almost became like he was playing a character.
Yeah.
Which he was, of course, but you know what I mean? Like, a character. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, kids, again, it's unique because it was the first, and it set him on the path. And it's also unique because it's the first shot out the gate anybody had to see, okay, we've seen him do sketch comedy and we've seen him on stage. Can the guy act? And buddy, he could, and he can. And we'll hit part 2 next week. Look, before we may even talk about this next week too. He teased stand up in that doc. I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, you never say never. Phil, I just don't think he cares about it.
I don't think he would have mentioned it in that documentary on Netflix, where Netflix is giving all of these stand-ups a bunch of money to do stand-ups, if this was not the precursor to him eventually doing a stand-up.
Well, I like your version a lot better. How about that?
And I mean, there's just so many things, like people saying like, man, you got to think, he's always writing things down. He's always thinking. And like, it's basically like the documentary is telling you at multiple turns, like never say never. And again, this is a documentary made for Netflix, where Netflix is just rolling gobs of money in front of people to do stand up for them. So I don't know. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Well, we're going to go with your version. I like your version much better. Mine was pretty defeatist, and I was at the end. I'm like, he ain't going to do it. He's been teasing. He's been talking about behind the scenes. He ain't going to do it. Because in my head, Phil, just do it. Just do it. Cash the check, get on stage, and kill it, because you always kill it. But I don't know, man. But I think I'm going to go with what you're saying. I like your version much better.
I mean, just think about like the last 20 minutes or so of the documentary and how they made the point of like, you know, we thought he'd never go back to SNL, and like he had this change of heart and went back to SNL, and it was such a good experience for him. And how he talked about how, you know, he hadn't worked for all that time, and he was sitting on his couch just watching, and he's like, yeah, I think I want to just get out there and remind people who I am, and I do this. And it's just like, yeah, there's a very good chance we're getting stand up, I think.
Yeah, I'm here for it. It'll be different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Eddie Murphy stand up looks like
exactly
in the 2020s, because you definitely cannot do the same stand up specials that he did that put him on the map.
Dude, Delirious and Raw both. I use the word edgy. He was absolutely edgy in those two specials.
Yeah.
Like classic, in a good way.
Classic stand-ups. And I think that's the other thing. It's going to be hard to top those two stand-ups. Like, we're talking about two of the best stand-up specials of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I had, I'm going to show my age. I had Delirious on cassette tape. No kidding. I played it to death. That freaking show. So good. Then I had, I think I had Raw on VHS, but I think I recorded it off HBO or something. But I played it to death too. Yeah. He's a legend, kids. And as we said before, this was his first shot out the gate as a bona fide movie star. Phil, before we wrap it up, man, he laid the groundwork for not just other black actors, but for other comedians who came, you know, from that world into the world of big budget movies and to be taken seriously. I think he laid the groundwork there. If for no other reason, Phil, he proved this can be done. Yes. Which he opened doors for other people, which is always a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Pioneer in a lot of ways. I mean, 4 stand-ups, 4 black leading men. Yeah, I don't think that he gets a lot of credit he deserves, because, you know, he had such like impactful highs, but then he had such well-documented lows as well. Because he's got movies that I think are like classics, but he also has movies that we don't ever need to talk about again. So
yes. Pluto Nash.
Yeah.
That's one. Yeah. Well, you know, Norbit, by the way, is a very underestimated film. Not a great film, but
no. Robbed of an Oscar. I will never stop saying it. Robbed of an Oscar for Dreamgirls. Definitely deserved it.
Yeah. I mean, again, legendary actor, folks. I don't know what more to tell you. He looks great, by the way. I mean, got
a lot of kids.
He's taking care of himself. That's awesome.
A lot of kids. And speaking of Oscars, I've seen other comedians say this. I think it is crazy at this point that there's no category for comedy at the Oscars. It should be.
And it's so hard to believe. I mean, don't they have best? There's no comedy at your kid. How do I not know this?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I feel like there's so many comedic roles that deserved Oscars.
Yeah. I mean, comedy's an art form. I think comedy's harder than drama. I know it is. But, you know, some actors make it look easier than others, I suppose. But, kids, there's only ever going to be one Eddie Murphy, all right? And just like there's only one Richard Pryor, there'll only be one Eddie Murphy. By the way, you know, I love the SNL flashback stuff. I love that he got to take that full circle. And, you know, I don't know if he would ever, in my mind, Phil, Eddie Murphy doing a sketch comedy show where it's his show, I just think, and I'm sure that maybe the window's already closed for it, but I'm thinking about one of those variety comedy shows where he's the host and his name's on it. I think that would have killed. I mean, I know it would have been small screen, not big budget movie, but God, he's so funny, dude.
Yeah, even in a documentary where he was making jokes here and there, hilarious.
Yeah. Kids, we couldn't recommend that documentary enough to you, so go check that out on Netflix. It's very much worth watching. Phil, before we get out of here, let's get your last word on 48 Hours.
Yeah, very controversial film to make today, but there's a reason why it's held in the regard that it is for Eddie Murphy's film debut. Um, he stole every single scene he was in. That is not an exaggeration to say this is not the same movie without him. And you can see right away, as soon as this thing hits the silver screen, why people knew this guy is going to be a big star. And it turns out, did pretty well for himself.
Did pretty well, yeah. Like I said, man, he is one of a kind. And kids, fingers crossed for that stand-up special. Phil's got my hopes up now, so I'm hoping you end up being right, man, because I definitely want to see it happen. You know, look, I like Chappelle, no disrespect intended, but I'm sorry. I don't know. I just feel like Dave doesn't read the room as much as he should.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? Eddie's got off color gay and trans jokes early on in his act, but he read the room.
Yeah,
and I think that, right? I think that's a sign of maturity. I don't think Dave's ever had maturity, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was some of the criticism of Norbit, that it was a bit crass and immature. But I think there's a reason why Eddie is one of Dave's idols, because they both do kind of silly humor as well.
Yeah.
But I think that, yeah, like you're saying about Dave, you have to evolve, and you can't get into like this rebellious mode where, oh, this person says I'm not going to do this joke, so I'm going to do 5 of them.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right.
Choosing the hill to die on. I don't think Dave does that very well. Dave got a bunch of money, so what do I know? But
he does.
Yeah. There's moments I question, like, are we going to keep going down this road? Let's do something else. You're funny. You're great. Like, come on.
He didn't, as much as I like Dave, he did not come across well in response to why he did the big comedy festival in Saudi Arabia either.
Yeah.
Oof.
Neither did Burr. Burr didn't either. Like,
yeah.
Boy. Well, kids, the guy that does come off well pretty much all the time is Eddie. And again, stay tuned, kids. We're going to hit Eddie a lot more than we have here. There's a lot more stuff that Eddie's done that we still haven't covered here, although we've done several things of his. But you can expect 48 Hours 2 next week here on the show. So we'll cover that one, and we'll see if old Tom's memories of that one are any different than his memories of the first one. So fingers crossed that everything's good there. I can't wait to watch it. I'll see how it holds up or didn't hold up, but we'll all find out together. Thanks as always, kids, for listening, for subscribing, for following on YouTube, and for checking out the website. Just check out Boink Studios, kids. We appreciate it very much. All the podcasts are there. And we'll be back again next week. But in the meantime, that is 48 Hours. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at 6M Podcasts. We'll see you next time.